guys, I thought we would bring back the how to do 3D nail video, this time for some festive winter nail designs using embo gel, 3D sculpting gel, and high viscosity gels. Think you're like crazy top thick. For some things, maybe you can add in as an accent design or a statement design for your festive nail sets. I will also be using the Necogel Juicy Palette collection. But guys, can we just appreciate how pretty this packaging is? Oh my goodness. And full transparency, this was sent to me as PR by Sweetie Nail Supply to do nails with. All the products used in this video will be linked in the description, and you can use code HOPE10 for 10% off at Sweetie Nail Supply as well. I'll be sharing tips and tricks, so hopefully this video is helpful. And let's start doing 3D winter nails. A little bit of an overview of the products. So we have the 3 types of 3D gels. Jello zigzag gel. This is an embo gel. Embo gels are usually in tube form, and they're good because they're quite lightweight, like easy to move, but they hold their shape well. So you have a lot of time to actually refine the design that you're using an embo gel for on the nail. Next gel is Crazy Top Thick. So this is a overlay non-wipe gel. Usually comes in more of a potted form, but as you can see, this one is a lot tackier and it globs together a lot more. I personally find this a little bit more difficult to work with than an embo gel. Then the last gel is 3D sculpting gels. I've used 3 for my winter designs, being the clear and milky white from Cris Clay, and then the white from the Gel and Gel Gumi Gel collection. These ones tend to be a lot more thicker. As you can see, they hold their shape a lot more. They're also usually more stringy. They vary in texture depending on, you know, the specific brand that you're using as well. I'll also be using a bunch of the Necogel Juicy Palette gels in these designs as well. This is the swatch card for it. So as you can see, is a collection of 15 syrups and 2 topper shades, all very fruit themed. And the swatch card is so cute. It's like a little buck. And it actually expands out as well. So some are really glassy. Others are more of like a medium true syrup, like this one. And then more of an opaque syrup for some others as well. Lastly, a couple of must-knows. Please, 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 whenever you are working with 3D gel, always protect your skin. Do not make skin contact with 3D gel or any gel product for that matter. Always, always wear gloves when you are handling 3D sculpting gels specifically. Personally, I always double glove. You don't need to double glove, but that's just my preference. So I'll always wear these thin white ones, which have, as you can see, these are like much thinner. And then I'll also wear a 6mm black glove over the top. This one is a lot thicker. These are both nitrile. I'll leave links to them in the description. I get them off Amazon. The other main thing is top coating. So the Jello Embo Gel and Crazy Top Thick, they're both non-wipe, so no need to top coat them, but always make sure that you add them as the final step in your design. So do your final top coat and then use these. You can top coat them, but the design will tend to lose its definition if you do that. Whereas 3D sculpting gels are usually not non-wipe, so always top coat these. My recommendation for that is first to flood the design and then scrub away any of the excess from any of the crevices so that you still have the definition but all of it is covered. So for embo gel, these are the 2 designs. As mentioned, it is an easy to manipulate gel. It usually comes in a tube form and it globs like this, so you can use it to draw directly on the nail, or you can kind of like pick it up on a brush and then apply it in globs or circles or however you want. Pretty lightweight, holds its shape well. For these reasons, it is my most used and favorite gel. It is my go-to for doing 3D swirls, blobs, even encapsulation around charms. Not all embo gels are made the same though. Some of them cure yellow. This specific Jello one is my 3rd tube of this, and I have a 4th purchased as a backup as well because I just love it. It's super reliable and cures clear and hard as well. I'm also a huge perfectionist, so I love the fact that I can take my time working with this gel. So if you also struggle with, you know, 3D swirls or things like that, potentially try using an embo gel for it because it gives you a lot more time to work with it and refine that shape, and it still globs together nicely as well. Some tips for working with this: if you want more definition, you can also build your design in layers, and I usually use a liner brush, so a short or a long liner brush or a petal brush depending on the design. These are the 2 embo gel designs. They both use cat eye. This purple one is probably the easiest design. It's a recreation of a design by Slayed by Steph on Instagram, essentially painting a silky silver cat eye. And then 2 layers of a glass jelly syrup from the Neko Gel collection, mattifying that, and then going in with your embo gel on top. I believe I used the Cocoa short liner brush. I like a short liner brush because it gives you a bit more control if you want to have jaggedy designs like this. And just basically like, you know, moving your brush around, creating these really cool kind of jaggedy effects. Again, because the embo gel is non-wipe, it means that you don't have to top coat it. So this is basically what it looks like after. And in the light, as you can see, you catch that really cool cat's eye, but it's mattified and then it just kind of sparkles. So in flash, this looks really nice and really cool. A really nice kind of like winter accent design to put into your set and pretty easy to do as well. Of course, the 3D elements on this lay pretty flat. You can build it up if you want, but I like it. It's cool, right? Difficulty rating. This is by far the easiest design. I give it a difficulty rating of 1 out of 5. The other embo gel design is this one. Again, another recreation, this time by nails by _Mike99 on Instagram. I love this when I saw it. Super, super cool. There's a lot of steps to it though. Firstly, blending your base tone. So I used a white and then into one of the Neko Gel blue glassy syrups. Painting a layer of cat eye. This time the cat eye I used was a silver, but it was more of a glittery cat eye, so the particles were a little bit bigger. Painting one more layer of that glass jelly blue, then painting this white swirl on with the Myth Millow white Greedy Cake Line gel palette. I love that palette, it's really good, but I did have to do it in 2 layers just because I think that palette's usually good for like eyes or like small details. If you're spreading it out into a design like this, you kind of need to layer it, but it works. Kind of frosting that out a little bit, mattifying the whole nail, and then going in with my embo gel. As you can see, this is a swirl design, and because you put it on top of mattify, it kind of just picks up that cat eye in really cool ways and just kind of reflects it. This is how it looks from the side, so not too thick, but not too thin. And I believe I used a thin liner brush, essentially a long liner. If you use a long liner brush with these swirls, you can drag out the point a lot more thin. If you use a short one, it's better for like short stubby swirls. So it just depends on, you know, the specific swirl pattern you want and how much definition you want where. Again, I'm a perfectionist. I love being able to really perfect like the swirl shape, which is why I love embo gel for these. And then just finished with some gems. In terms of difficulty, the actual embo swirl part of this design is like a 2 out of 5. Doing the swirls with embo gel, not difficult, but I'd say the design overall is like a 4 out of 5 just because there's so many steps to it, but it's cool. And then this is how the actual design would look. Again, a really cool one in flash photography. Next type of 3D gel is the Crazy Top Thick non-wipe overlay gel. I feel like there aren't that many competitors to this kind of gel on the market. I feel like everybody's ride or die is Jim B Crazy Top Thick. As you can see, it does have some viscosity to it, but it does move pretty slowly. And this specific gel globs together a lot as well. Maybe a bit of a controversial opinion, but I struggle with this gel. It's my least used kind of 3D gel. It globs together very nicely, but because of its consistency, I find you have to be really quick with this gel and really precise with it as well. So whereas the Jello Jello Embo gel gives you a lot of time to perfect your design out because it holds its shape a lot more, this one is not forgiving. Like, you need to make sure that you have your design placement, brush, amount of gel on lock, specifically for swirls. However, because of the consistency of this and because it's like globbing nature, it's really good for like round globby designs. It self-levels into itself very nicely, and depending on the design you want to do, you can actually put bubbles into this. So for example, if you wanted to do something that was like a water themed bubble set, or like for winter, you know, like if you wanted to do like a snow globe, that ability to put bubbles into this is quite good. These are the 2 designs. Firstly, this fluffy paw print one. I know when it comes to winter, like fluffy nails, powdered nails are a huge thing, right? I recently picked up the Cocoist Pushu Pushu Fluff. Like it's literally just like a bottle of fluff, and I really wanted to try it, and I just thought it would be perfect for winter nail designs. This is a recreation of a design by a Etsy store on Instagram. Painted one coat of a neutral kind of white pink base. Then I went in with a dotting tool and a pink, one of the pink Neko gels, and did the paw print shape. I did that in 2 layers just for saturation. Mattified the whole nail, and then went in with the Cocoist non-wipe accessory bond in white and the Cocoist Pushu Fluff in white as well. If you're going to use the fluff, and I guess this probably is the case for, you know, like powdered nail designs, sweaty nail designs as well, probably best if you layer it on a white base. So if you're using like a white powder or a white fluff, layer that on a white base. If you're using like a pink fluff or a blue fluff, layer that on a pink or a blue, just so that you can get like the most brightness from the fluff or the powder. You want to make sure that you layer the fluff on top of a non-wipe gel because you don't top coat this. And then you just spray the fluff on and you get this really cool like fluffy texture. Admittedly, like it doesn't look that fluffy from afar. The ones on the Coco's page look super fluffy, so I'm gonna keep experimenting with this to see how I can get it to work. And then as a final step, going in with the Crazy Top Thick and just basically globbing in some gel into the paw print just to make it a little bit raised. This one I didn't make too raised. You can probably add more gel if you want it to be more 3D, but pretty cool, pretty cute design. And this is how that looks. And yes, it feels fluffy. It's really weird. Like, it's really weird, but really cool. And as for difficulty, I would give this like a 2 out of 5. Not super difficult. Pretty easy to do. The second design, so obviously when it's winter, everybody kind of wants to do like mistletoe nails. There's also like a huge trend of like glass nails as well, where people layer like a red gel over like a cat eye. I kind of wanted to combine those into one. This again it's not so much a recreation. Pretty easy. 2 coats of a neutral nude. I think I used a pocket nudie glaze gel for this. Then went in with a dotting tool and the same silky cat eye. Painted on some dots. Then covered those dots with an Eco Gel Red Jelly Gel and added some extra pizzazz around the nails. I did actually paint some white leaves. You can't really see them. And they didn't really look like leaves, so then I went over them with one of the Neko Gel greens and it also just didn't look right to me. So I just ultimately left it as like this explosion of petals. But yeah, that's what that is. And then for the 3D part, I just globbed on some balls of the Crazy Top Thick. Whilst I was doing these specifically, I did keep getting like little air bubbles in them. So this is definitely one of those designs where if you want to put like little glassy air bubbles in it, you could definitely do that. But I think it's mostly just clear around, and then of course it refracts that cat eye underneath as well. Really cool. Pretty simple design. Obviously it's going to be more impactful if you paint like leaves specifically on it, but it's cute. I'm not mad at her. In terms of difficulty, I'd probably say like a 3 out of 5. There's a few steps to it, but overall I feel like it's probably a pretty simple but impactful. And in terms of using jellies with syrups, there's a few ways you can do them as well. So like you could also experiment with the layering. So for example, if you want to do like a jelly on the bottom and then layer your 3D gel on top, probably looking at like an embo gel or a thick overlay gel for that. But you can also do like a sculpting gel and sculpt like a ball, apply that to your nail clear and then paint over it with a jelly syrup as well. So you're definitely not limited to this layering style. And then lastly, 3D sculpting gels. These are my new favorites for most of 2024 and first half of this year. I love the Valatoy gel, but the Cris Clay Clear has quickly taken over, as well as the Cris Clay Milky White in place of the Yogo Milk Jam. And then I also have this gel and gel gummy gel as well, which I love for character sculpting. There is also the Cris Clay clay gels, which look like this, which are more of a clay texture. I didn't use this specifically in any of these designs, but that's what that one looks like. It's more clay. I'm sure there are some winter designs you can use for this as well. You can basically use these gels to sculpt anything you want. So think like flowers, bows, character sculpting, shapes. Those are my main use cases for them, but the options are honestly endless with this. The Cris Clay Clear and Milky White are their new Korean formulas, and these are a lot more like jelly. They're very, I don't know if you can see, they're super stringy as well. This looks kind of blue in the pot, but it does cure super clear. And these also cure hard. See there as well. Alternatively, the Gel and Gel Gummy Gel. It has like a bit of a softer texture, but it's still gummy. Like it's still stringy and gummy, but it looks a little bit more clay-like when you're sculpting with it, and a bit more opaque in comparison to the Milky White. Okay, some tips for working with these gels. Please, as mentioned, use gloves when you are handling these products. Personally, I prefer to use tools whenever I'm sculpting with these anyway, but Cris really does care about gel nail safety and good formulas, so I am comfortable sculpting with the with her clays. So the clear, the Milky White, the clay white, wearing gloves with my fingers. Cris are HEMA free, but generally I always use tools with the Gel and Gel Gummy Gel. Some other points around 3D sculpting gel safety. Please follow the instructions and make sure you are curing for the correct amount of time. As standard, I will always cure these for 120 seconds just to be super sure in a big lamp. I'll leave an article in the description around best practice for using 3D gel, which has been written by Cris. Also, I generally don't sculpt anything bigger than 3mm. If you want to sculpt anything that's bigger than 3mm, probably best to do it in layers and build up that design. Similarly, when I'm building like characters, build that in blocks. So I'll do like the face first, cure that the full amount of time, then do, let's say, like the ears or like the body or the arms or the component, you know what I mean? Like just basically making sure that you're curing your gel fully all the way through. You can also do a cure test. So if you just grab a blob of gel, cure it, and then cut it in half, if it is soft or if it smells, that's an indicator that it has not cured fully. Then in terms of using these gels in nail art, you can include things like powder in them. Usually I try to be quite minimal with the powder or any inclusions, just because I want to try and prevent anything impacting how it cures. But I've personally not had any issues with, you know, like mixing in powder into a clear or the gummy gel and gel. Still cures super hard. Also, always make sure that you apply these onto a top coat. 3D gel doesn't really stick to like an inhibition sticky layer very well, so I always top coat and then go in with my 3D gel to sculpt on the nail. You can also sculpt charms and things like that off the nail and then attach them after, if that's your preference. If I add too much gel in my original design and I need to remove some, because they're not sticky, you can just go in with some tweezers and just like nip off excess, and it's usually pretty easy to just continue working on your design. It doesn't go super stringy or sticky or anything like that. These three all cure hard. They don't yellow, and you can use them wearing gloves, so they don't go like super sticky on your gloves. The only thing I would note is not to overwork it. So if you've been rolling something in your gloves, so you may need to give it like a minute just to cool back down so that you can continue working with it. And then in terms of top coating, these are never non-white, so always make sure you top coat these. My general advice for top coating is first to flood. So flood the nail kind of with a lot of top coat, and then go and scrub all the excess away just so that you make sure you get into all the crevices of your 3D design. And you can also use like a sculpting brush with alcohol to smooth out your design as you work on it as well. And these are the 4 designs using 3D sculpting gel. Definitely one of the more fun gels you can use for winter designs. Probably the one that I'll use a lot in my designs as well. First one, candy cane design. Look how cute these candy canes are. This is a recreation of a design by Gel XX Mel on Instagram. So you got some 3D candy canes. How cute are they? And then I'm not even sure if you can see that very well. Basically, I have put like a sweater fuzzy glitter design on that as well, because I know that's a pretty popular winter nail design. So in terms of this, I painted just a base coat. This is one of the Necker gel syrups, and then went in with a thick white painting gel, the Divock Vantil White, just to paint that French tip. Mattified the whole nail. Cocoa Snow Wipe Accessory Bond in white to paint the kind of like base of the sweater design. I feel like you could also use a stamper for this as well, but I just don't own one of those stampers. at the current moment. Whilst that was still wet, went in with my glitter, sprinkled that on. That was the Nail Bio like white sugar glitter, I believe. This one's actually like a little bit gold, so it speckles gold a bit. Then we moved on to the sculpting. But basically this is using clear mixed in with red powder. When you're mixing powder into gels, I probably recommend like you want to stretch it out and then like ball it, squish it together, and then like keep stretching and squishing, keep stretching and squishing to incorporate it fully. It's a lot easier to do that with gloves rather than trying to do it with a tool. Rolled that out into a long line. Also got some of the milky white, rolled that out into a long line and incorporated them together. Literally just rolling them, and you get a really cool like kind of long string. I rolled that out a little bit more just to smoothen it so it wasn't like ridged around the edges. And then from that point I did unfortunately lose the footage, but it's basically just a case of like perfecting it and sizing it up. I did roughly shape it on my white nail art pad and then applied it to the nail and perfected the shape on the nail. Some tips I'd recommend is probably just making sure you have like a good idea of what it's going to look like before you apply it on the nail, and like trying to cut your roll of gel at the right places so it actually looks like a candy cane. Does that make sense? I have also seen on Instagram a bunch of different variations of people doing this design. So some like will paint the red directly on the candy cane. Other people will use like clay gel, so they'll use like a specific red clay gel and then a specific white clay gel and roll those together as well. So there's a few different variations of like gels and methods you can use to achieve this, but this is one I like. Obviously this method, it goes a bit more pink, I think, just because it mixes together, which I don't mind, but I might try to do another recreation of these candy canes and make it a bit more white in like a winter nail set, because I feel like candy canes is such a cute winter design motif. There's also like a pinwheel design that I see which looks really cute. I want to try recreating that as well, because I have immediately no idea how you do a pinwheel unless you painted it. But I feel like maybe you could cut out chunks like triangles and then like put them all together and kind of like shape it around. I don't know, potentially something I will continue tweaking, but it's really cute. I really like it as like a festive but not in your face Christmas design. Of course, curing these for 120 seconds in my big lamp, and then when it came to top coating, so I top coated these two candy canes just by themselves, obviously because the base is matte, so I just went over those two with the top coat. And then for this sweater, I'm not really sure whether you're supposed to top coat the glitter, but I feel like it would come off in daily wear if you didn't top coat it. I did go in with like a sponge, painted a bit of top coat on that sponge and then like dabbed it on. If anybody knows of a better way to top coat this, please let me know though, because I feel like all the glitter would come off otherwise. And this is how this would look on the nail. Super, super cute. In terms of difficulty, there's a few steps to this design, but I'd say overall it's like a 2 out of 5, because actually sculpting candy canes is not a difficult shape to sculpt. Like it's like one thing you're sculpting on the nail. It's not like it's multiple layers. The most involved part is just the sweater design and then rolling the gel together. So it's like not too difficult, but pretty impactful. I like it. I really like it. Okay, next nail, my snowman hipper. Look how cute this is, guys. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed. Character sculpting is actually so fun. I feel like hipper nails have been getting a bit more popular in 2025, and I really like at Kimchi's nails hipper nail designs on Instagram. This is partially inspired by her, plus Christmas, plus Susie XXI, how she sculpts her characters. So I used the Gel and Gel Gummy Gel white for this exclusively. I did cut down the Daimi Canoe horn tip to about here. My base is just one layer of Nail Bio Nudie White plus 2 layers of one of the Neko Gel Juicy Palette collection gels. Top coated that and then went in with the Gel and Gel Gummy Gel white exclusively for this. Start building out my face. I did have to do a little bit of trial and error, so I did nip off some gel originally, but that's why I really like this gel, because it's just super easy to nip off if you add too much. Once I was happy with the face, I just kind of rounded it round so it wasn't overlapping. The edge is a little bit over just so that it kind of fits the height of what this tip would be anyway. I think I actually made it a little bit shorter, which is fine. Easy, it comes off the nail a little bit, but not too much. And then cured that. Then I went in with the earmuffs. I did include some blue powder into the Gel and Gel Gummy White. This gel again picks up powder really nicely, and just sculpted those on there so that headband first and then the little earmuffs. And guys, how cute. And then I did a little scarf. How cute, how cute. And then cured that again. Pretty easy. Before going in with the face, I always recommend you top coat your 3D gel so that you have like a nice smooth surface. It means that there's no ridges for like the face to fall into. And if you need to wipe it off and redo the face at any point, which I usually need to do, because why is doing 2 dots for eyes and then 1 dot for a nose so difficult to get even? I don't know, you tell me. Although, side note, I did do these eyes on the first try and the nose on the second try, which I'm super proud of. Basically, if you top coat, it just means if you need to wipe this off, then that pigment's gonna come off cleanly. It's not gonna get like stuck in any ridges. Obviously, you wanna make sure that you still keep your definition there as well. Drew some little arms and then did my final top coat. Again, when you're top coating 3D gel, it's best to like flood it first and then like scrub away all of the excess. And because I did kind of build this over the side a little bit, I also top coated this part of the back as well. But it's so cute, guys. Look how cute my little hippo is. And if I put it on the nail, it looks like this. How cute. Kind of odd from this direction, but I feel like the main thing would be like this direction. Like if you have your hand like, oh my god, I'm really doing acrobats right now. If you have your hand like that, like look how cute that is. It's so fun. Let me know what are your thoughts on hippo nails in the comments, because I feel like people have like, it's either it's like Marmite, it's like yes, or like absolutely not. In terms of difficulty, I'd actually give this like a 3 out of 5. A snowman is not too much of a complex character to sculpt, and really there's only like 2-3 components to this nail. Like you have the head, you have the earmuffs and scarf, and then you have the face. It's not too complex. The most complex part of it is just proportions and sizing. So I'd give it like a 3 out of 5 for difficulty. Okay, this is the second to last nail design. I have a bunch of these nail stampers which I wanted to use, like a triangle flower one, which I thought would like kind of mimic a snowflake. I'm a bit undecided on this design and how to use stampers, but you can also use them for like glass nails, where if you put like a bunch of 3D gel over the whole nail and then you can like stamp into it. Pretty cool. I think that could be cute as well for winter. But how I did this design, so a couple of coats of one of the Neco Gel syrups into a clear. I did also put some of the Nail Bio ice glitter on this bottom here. It kind of refracts pretty nicely in the light. Like it kind of gives like a icicle kind of vibe without having to do icicle nails. I also recently got the D-Gel Tok Tok gel and the Mostiv Hide and Seek gels. They're also called graffiti gels or poke gels. I wanted to see how it would work painting a snowflake. Kind of works, but again, it kind of like morphs together. So I don't know, I kind of don't mind it. Kind of cute. And then I also did a little bit of down here as well. Honestly, I think I might keep trying the D-Gel Tok Tok gel to kind of give like an imperfect snow design, because I feel like if you put like a bunch of little dots or lines over a nail pretty quickly, it will absorb into itself and give you these weird shapes, and it might look like snow. Pretty cool, pretty cute. But of course you can also like write things, so you could like paint this gel all over the nail and then like scratch into it, like let it snow, or like words or things like that. Very fun. But in terms of the 3D part, so I did this based off a nail plate. I kind of wanted to do like a ring circular charm thing. This is using the Cris Clay clear, and I got into a ball and then went in with my stamper. Using the stampers is deceptively difficult. You can't let the gel get too warm, and some stampers are like blocked out all the way, whereas others have like a gap that concaves inwards. I did originally try one of the like concave ones, but the gel got stuck in the gaps. Still some trial and error on that. So I ended up going with like this star flower triangle shaped one, which worked out okay. Did that on the pad, then cured that, pulled it off the pad because it was going to be really clear otherwise. I did actually paint like a white chrome powder on the base. So it looks cute. I don't know, like I feel like it's an okay design. Maybe if you tweak some things with the execution, it could look even nicer, or if you just do on like one of the ones that like jumps out more rather than just going in. But she's cute. I attached her to the nail as like a charm and then just went in with the embo gel to encapsulate the side here so that it wouldn't catch on hair. And then top coated everything as always, flooding and then scrubbing. I tried to scrub it a bit more just because obviously I wanted to still have like the definition in the middle, but I don't know, it's okay. In terms of difficulty, I'd say this is like a 4 out of 5 because using these stampers with 3D gel is actually quite difficult. You need to make sure that 3D gel doesn't get too warm. You need to like size the ball of gel correctly as well so that there's not too much overlap. If anybody has any tips, please let me know. But the inspo is something you could do for winter nail designs. I think it's okay. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Final design is also a recreation by Nails by Tasmia on Instagram. I feel like bows is a pretty popular 3D sculpting, especially for winter and Christmas. So the base is 2 layers of a Neko gel, a juicy palette syrup into clear. I didn't do it for this nail, but I feel like putting like an icicle design on the back of this, using, you know, like that 3D like gel icicle technique would also be really cute. Top coating and then going in with my sculpting. I wanted to try doing a design which used really thin layers of 3D gel. I did originally try to do this using the Cris Clay White, but that one is too crumbly for this kind of like bow design. So if you're going to be doing something like this, I recommend going with a more kind of jelly white gel, like something that's a bit more gummy that you can flatten out nicely. Something that doesn't immediately absorb into itself, but also doesn't like crumble or like snap. I flattened that out on the back of my brush and then transferred each bow to the nail. You kind of need to build this in 5 parts. So like left bow, right bow, center, and then like the ribbons. The reason why I say it's difficult is just because sizing the balls is pretty important. Sizing and shaping of this design makes it a bit more complex. Like you kind of want to like pinch it in and adding this to the nail and then like folding it over on itself, but you kind of need to work quickly enough where it doesn't glob into itself but you still have like definition. Cure that and then do the same on the second side. I do think though like the bow itself turned out pretty cute. It just requires some shaping and some patience. And then going in with the center, I added far too much to begin with, so I just nipped some off with my tweezers. Again, the Cris Clays are also really nice to work with, so there's no issues with that. Like it doesn't go stringy or anything. And then doing the ribbons. The ribbons was like the most difficult part for me actually, because I don't know why. Tell me why this looks kind of like Squidward. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you put more gel on and then like flattened it out in like more angular ways, you'll probably be able to get something that looks more like a ribbon rather than like round, long legs. But I think overall it's pretty cute. It works. It looks like a ribbon. I think it's just because I'm in my head about it. I put that in for like a full cure, and then because this is like a slightly milky, clear, jelly white, I did go in with a tiny bit of a syrup white gel just to kind of bring out the white of this, making sure I wasn't flooding the definition, and then curing that, and then going with the final top coat. Of course, with the final top coat, flooding and scrubbing, just so you still, you know, obviously get all of that definition in the bow that you want. And then this is how it would look on the nail. I like it, it's cute. I think it's a good statement nail design. You could also spruce up the base, so you could add some like sparkle, some glitter, some like ice, if you want to add a bit more fun pizzazz to it, you know? However, in terms of difficulty, I would give this a 4 out of 5. Just because I feel like you have to be quite precise with the amounts of gel, how quickly you work with the gel, what kind of gel you use. It's really, you have to be like on it with how you approach this. But then it's like cute and impactful once you're done. And then these are how all of the nails look together. Look how cute. I am obsessed. Hopefully they serve us some good winter nails inspo. Will you recreate any of these or take some of these tips? I'd love to know, I'd love to see. Please tag me on Instagram if you do as well. And then in comparison with my actual designs as well. It's so cool to see like the inspo to the final products. So as mentioned, you can check my Ko-fi for my nail art design templates. This is a specific one I used for this testing nail session, but I have a bunch more for various shapes. So like long and medium, stiletto, coffin, almond, ballerina, even a claw nail one as well. I do them in 6 different color tones and then a transparent one as well. So you can basically draw like white designs on a colored base and it shows up in your template in 9x16 format. And I also always include a bunch of space around as well so that you can kind of basically build your inspo pics as you need in a box for notes and scribbles. So yeah, if you're interested in this template or any of my other ones, like this is my long coffin one, long stiletto, this is also a sneak peek of my next design, testing sessions, etc., then please feel free to check out my Ko-fi. It will be linked in the description below. And then lastly, one design related aspect. So Instagram recently came out with a repost function. So I've reposted all of the inspo that was inspiring the nails in this design video as well, but I also will keep reposting winter nails inspo as well, and just cool things that I like. So if you like my vibe and the things I make, you might also like the things I share. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. I've also made a public winter nails Pinterest board for some other inspo as well. So whenever I see new cool things, I'll either pin them or repost them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Maybe I gave you some winter nails inspo. As mentioned, I'll also leave links in the description to my Pinterest and my Instagram reposts where you can see more gel nails content. I'll also have links to all of the products shown in this video in the description as well, along with code HOPE10 for 10% off at Sweetie Nail Supply. Thank you so much if you use that. It really does help support the channel. Question of the video: what was your favorite nail design of all of them that I made? If you're to this point, you probably enjoyed the video as well. So please like and subscribe. That's gonna be it. So thank you so much for watching and goodbye.